This is your November 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this might resonate for you. Thanks for taking the time to join me on my channel. It's Romy here. We're going to open up this month for you with the energy of the Ace of Cups. And it feels to me that there is a fresh wave of inspiration landing for you. And it's really helping you to make important choices and take action to invest in yourself. And we're going to see Saturn stationing direct in Pisces from the 4th of the month. And it does feel to a certain extent like the floodgates get opened a little bit. So things that have felt stagnant and held up all of a sudden are being given the green light. And the most important reflection that we should have, you know, as this taskmaster energy wakes up from its slumber is, what are the lessons I have learnt in regards to this? And remember, you know, Saturn wants us to kind of rigorously devote to our dreams in Pisces, to the inspiration, the things that move us. And with the Ace of Cups, you have an opportunity for a fresh start. There's definitely a different tone to the month of November. It feels refreshing, in some ways cathartic, particularly after some of the intensity that we experienced through October. It's also certainly for you a month where you're flexing like this new identity, you know, that's taken place as you came through your solar returns. And now we're in Scorpio season, of course, the season of rebirth. You know, it's giving you opportunities to kind of test and to experiment and to sort of bring this different kind of an energy and an attitude towards your encounters, your interactions and your experiences. Now Venus moves into your sign on the 8th of the month, and again, you know, along with that Ace of Cups, this heralds more peaceful, more harmonious, and perhaps encounters and opportunities, particularly for those of you you know, invested in seeing shifts and changes in your romantic life. But remember, what we also see through the course of Venus, your ruler, showing up in your sign is a little bit of a reset around what's going on for your finances and your abundance. And in the second house energy of Scorpio, you also have an opportunity to kind of demonstrate a new sense of appreciation about your value. And I think what we see through the course of November is this reset and an opportunity for an upturn, or certainly like a fresh wave of inspiration to help you. But I do think it's going to require that you invest in yourself and then give a little time and patience in order to see some of the fruits of that start to develop for you over the next few months. That said, November also brings about a number of surprises, and I think people will surprise you. You're going to surprise yourself, but there are also going to be things that show up on your path that feel, gosh, I'd even forgotten about that, or I'd almost given up hope around that. Temperance gives us the ability to find our equilibrium, and I think that's what we're seeing emerging for you through this month of November. Now, rest assured, we still are at this crossroads moment, and you know, certainly one of the things that you'll be experiencing in this really powerful month of awakening is multiple timelines, and you know, the choices that we have to look in the direction of, you know, what we see coming. And it would be very easy to kind of get lost and feel a bit disenchanted and disillusioned with some of the darker energies that seem to loom on the horizon. And yet your choices have to be rooted in this consideration of, does this bring me closer to myself? Does this help me to realize a future that I want, not only for me, but for my children, for the next generation, for the earth? You know, does it add value to my life to consider making this decision? And do I feel proud of it? And all of these things are going to help you to find, you know, your kind of right set point, so that And this is important. You're able to sort of stand strong in the face of perhaps for some of you increasing difficulties and challenges, certainly sort of looking out to the world and, not being almost like brought down by the overwhelming sort of feeling of like how much needs to be done or fixed or resolved, and yet kind of tap into that sacred inner light. Now we're going to have the 1111 portal arriving on of course the 11th in November, and it's got a Mars opposite Uranus aspect, bringing in a very galactic energy. And Mars also likes to shock, so don't be surprised if there's opportunity, especially if you're invested through your rituals, meditations, your openness and curiosity to how to work with this portal, that you receive information, messages, connections that feel so transcendent and unlike anything you've ever witnessed or had, the blessing to sort of experience on whatever level that comes in. The world also shows up for you as we talk about this portal, and so something, needs to be recognized, and it's a really important sort of part of the process for you. As you recognize what it's taken to get to this point and what you've accomplished and actually what's continuing to enrich your life, there's a new sense of dedication and almost the ability to kind of create an imprint which is harnessed with this portal energy. And it puts you like almost, it's like you just jump 3 levels. This is the best way I can describe it. So there's a really sort of profound shift that happens in and around that time. You become so informed, so enlightened, and this helps you to reconsider your position and your perception of something. And this is incredibly important because you maybe didn't see it coming, but now you know what you know. And the month of November is very much for all of us about giving ourselves permission and this freedom to change our mind, to change our heart, the desires that we have, our perceptions, and much of that because we're now being given access and insight into things that was previously kept away or hidden from us. And so as that plays out very close to home in some of your more personal relationships, but also on a bigger, wider stage, the onus is on you to say, okay, what am I going to do with this information now? And, through the 1111 portal and then up to the new moon in Scorpio on the 13th, which also has a sun opposite Uranus aspect, we have this tug of war. We have these competing ideas and forces that are playing out, but also going on within us. And that can create some disharmony and unpredictability. But at the same time, the awakening is so significant. And the way that I see you sort of having to kind of move and sort of go with the momentum of this tidal wave of change, it really helps you to consider the right actions that you need to take. You're not what you say you're going to do, it's what you actually end up doing. Let your actions speak loudly this month. There is a green light, and we also have this incredible kind of preview energy of what 2024 is going to have in store for us. Now, the 6 of Pentacles, again, along with Temperance, is telling me that you're really finding the ability to kind of rebalance something. But I think it also comes from a place, Libra, where you are fiercely protecting it. And, that could well be your peace against external sort of interference that has the potential to derail you. And even if it comes in and it really does create some, discord, then we just have to ask ourselves the question, if I feel lost right now, how can I return to love in this moment? And that will be the thing that will just naturally bring you back to your center point. Now you have some interesting support and even offers that are coming in, and certainly for some of you by way of abundance, there are some good news and some surprises on the horizon that I think will be well received. But we also have a requirement with that Ace of Cups in the beginning of your reading to say, look, we have a finite amount of energy to be able to invest in any one thing. And the most important thing this month for you is to invest in yourself. If you end up giving more than you are able to, people will just keep taking this month because they're hungry. They're hungry for your knowledge, your wisdom, your energy, your love, like whatever it is that you have worked and nurtured and, soul tended through the last few weeks to get to a higher vibrational place. And also, as we see you kind of evolving and perhaps like jumping up these levels, there's also this sense of people sort of gravitating towards you even more. And, the thing is, if it means something to you, as in like what you're investing in, then, there's also the sense that sometimes it activates some fear because the stakes feel high. And, that can get a bit messy because then there's some resistance that's brought into the equation. And whether people realize it or not, they can sometimes sort of exploit that fear or that anxiousness that they see, almost then in a sort of way that, makes you feel duty bound, or that you can't possibly break away from this, that you need it, or, that without it, you're not going to be able to achieve or to receive the things that you desire. So you have to be really mindful of how that kind of storyline might play out and be reflected in some of the relationships and interactions that you have around that mid-month. But the new moon, of course, is giving you this opportunity as well to have this kind of completely fresh start with something and not kind of carry a lot of the baggage of what didn't work before. Saturn has helped us to learn the lessons, and they might have been incredibly bitter in terms of, the way that we had to kind of deal with something or acknowledge something. But, this is almost like a pure experience if you'll let it through the month of November, where it doesn't have to be so affected by the kind of greyness of, all of the resistance that's sort of gone before. Now, the Four of Pentacles, we see the swan and it's very sort of protected in this frame, this huge big sun above it. And it just feels like, to a certain extent, you might need to operate a little bit in your bubble this month. And again, this is, echoing this need to sort of protect something really important. On the 17th, we have a really beautiful aspect to look out for, a series of planets making harmonious conversations with one another. Mars and the Sun are trining with Neptune, and the Sun conjuncts with Mars. So not only are we then able to reach and access this fresh wave of inspiration, but we also know inherently the right action to take with regards to it as well. And you have a sort of firm, steady platform with which to move forward in regards to that. But again, there's that side note that says, conserving one's energy, being mindful of how much you have available, is also something that needs to come into the equation. But in and around the 17th, there feels to be this uplift, especially around abundance for you, things that might be going on to do with work, or some surprises where something ends up being not quite as bad as what you'd anticipated, pertaining to finances. And certainly what we see is you in a more flowing kind of state of mind. In fact, your whole reading is quite flowing, actually. There's just a lot of ease in terms of the movement. I quite like this for you. I think, the shake up and wake up of October has put you in a place that's just said, okay, let's just go with it, because there's no point in sort of fighting some of the ways that destiny's showing up right now. I'm really kind of paying attention, and I'm trying to suspend judgment at the moment and really kind of considering, what is it that is going to help me to, become closer to myself in this moment. And that sort of outlook, it seems to really serve you through the month, kind of across the board. Now, Pallas Athena, the asteroid goddess, shifts into Scorpio on the 19th. And remember, Pallas Athena helps us with planning and strategy. And in Scorpio, my goodness, we get to the heart of it, Libra. We are absolutely able to uncover and discover the truth, with a relentlessness, at times a ruthlessness. But, it's an incredible sort of X-ray vision that we're given. High Priestess just echoing that message. And so in and around the 19th, you may find that you absolutely must make a change to a plan, or some sort of strategy that you're considering or that you're deploying or that's already in existence, because of what you uncover or discover, or information that kind of comes your way. You have to trust in yourself in this moment, because it might not make any logical sense on paper. If you try to talk to other people about it, they might think you're kind of a bit crazy, or because they just can't see or feel or sense what you are. But be reminded, Pallas Athena in that sign of Scorpio, that will go right into the shadows, right down to the underworld, and pull out everything that we need to know. And sometimes that hard truth is difficult, but it's better than the false narrative. But because it pertains to your strategy, it will feel deeply personal, even if it's something that's happening on a bigger scale. So there is a ripple effect that you need to pay attention to. And, you know, particularly if this involves specific one-on-one relationships, you're also going to have to do your very, very best to kind of really navigate and sort of help to guide somebody through that experience, because they may just really struggle to kind of understand. And that's where perhaps some of the language that you use is going to be important. And as we come into Sagittarius season from the 22nd, remember it's your third house, so it's challenging the way that you think. It's also helping you to make more short-term plans that help sort of build a bridge and get you from A to B. And really everything is sort of predicated on this need to create a deeper sense of freedom in your life across the board. Yeah, so Sun in Sagittarius, Mars moving into the sign on the 24th, again sort of helps with the actions that are going to be needed, you know, following some of the revelations that are going to sort of tumble out through the month of November. And then we have this full moon in Gemini, fellow air sign, coming in at 5 degrees on the 27th, which is opposing Mars. So again, we feel like, you know, we have to defend, we have to justify what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we're saying, why we're saying it. But we don't have to be rattled in that. You know, we can stand up and just choose to kind of repeat and express the reasons, the opinions, the beliefs that we hold, and be proud of that. And also be able, and this is kind of such an important message, not just for you, but for how you lead and how you inspire, is to be able to say, yeah, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Like, that's my prerogative. Like, I get to. Now I know what I know. Now I've seen what I've seen. This is my new understanding. This is my new take on it. And so I see you quite fearless around that full moon. And it's incredibly important, again, that you're trusting yourself in that, because it creates this fluency and this kind of, okay, now I know the natural next step. Remember, the full moon in Gemini will sort of expand and amplify, especially like news and information, so things can go viral very quickly, can explode and sort of just feel like it's everywhere, but you seem to be getting almost like a heads up or a preview of something. Again, you know, that will pertain on a personal note to you in some specific area, but it'll also be playing out in the collective, because there's always that sacred mirror that's taking place. So when you get the heads up, if you like, and you know that there's these competing ideas and forces that have sort of been at play, but we have this powerful portal of awakening, you have the opportunity to kind of say, okay, well, I'm going to allow this experience, because this experience is going to teach me everything that I need to know to help set me up for what's, you know, going to be coming through for me next year. And that's such a valid and valuable kind of way to kind of experience November. Okay, remembering, as I said, I see you kind of jumping up these levels, so you're already in a sort of perhaps a slightly different vantage point, but you're still going through these like personal spiritual lessons, and so everything has to be an opportunity to kind of flex what you've learned, yeah, and how you've changed and the adjustments that you've made. But these repeat surprises that keep showing up almost put you in a place where nothing surprises you anymore. And that's kind of what we need for next year. We need your mind and your heart to be so wide open that you're like just holding space for what's going to come through. Yeah, and with that, then we start to see the miracles. Then we start to see the shifts in time that feels incredible. Then we see breakthroughs and solutions and access to information that is so far beyond what you'd expected. Now, if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. We talk for another 30 minutes or so, and we also look at a personal question and a relationship card for you. So you'll find that in the comment and description box underneath. I'm going to go ahead and just clarify these cards and see the direction that we might be taking that reading in. Okay, so let's do that now. Now this month I've created an 1111 energy activation. Look at that, 2 Ace of Cups, beautiful. And because I'm really feeling into this dragon energy, I've got a couple of the decks that I'll be using for you this month, but I've also created a Dragons of Light soul journey. You know, these dimensional energies here to inform, to guide, to teach us, and in a really direct way. So if you're curious, if you're already working with them, you know, to the degree that you're trying to open your mind, please do check out these journeys, because they will really support you. We've got another Six of Pentacles coming in. See you getting a lot more from somebody than you have of late. You know, there's a lot more generosity of spirit coming through. Now, November also sees my seasonal offers being released. It's the only month of the year that I do this. So my deck, my book, the Angel and Goddess reports, and also very limited edition number of Guide and the Gift readings, if you're familiar with me. I offer these every year. They're a preview into the year ahead, and they are personal recorded sessions. You will get these offers only through the month of November, so please check out my website and also my social media channels to make sure you don't miss out, okay? 7, 8 of Swords, 3 of Wands, okay? Hanged Man and the energy of death. Let's put one more for that. Beautiful, the Star. About this High Priestess, the Magician. Got all these majors coming through. 8 of Pentacles. Chariot, lovely. A reminder, of course, all the decks that I use are always listed below in the comment and description box, along with all the links for anything that I talk about, okay? Right, let's get some oracles out for you, Libra. This is my own deck. So again, check out the offers on for the month of November. It's over on my website. So what do we have? The Rainbow Dragon and the Wild Rose, of course. This energy is so strong for November. Let them help you. Let them guide you. Let them teach you. Spirit Wolf, certainty of trust. Root energy built from love. Got a full moon there, soulful surrender. Crown energy, activations of wisdom. And destiny speaks. It's interesting, all those Ace of Cups coming through and the root energy. There's not a lot of quartz though showing up to necessarily kind of direct us specifically toward like new love, new relationships. I think this Ace of Cups is representing something much bigger, much more important about the way you've been investing and how you will invest in yourself. And kind of the origin of that, the source of it, where it comes from, why you're making those decisions, and kind of understanding your why is going to be so significant. Orange Gold Dragon from Arcturus opens you to knowledge for the new golden age. Beautiful. Okay, let's pull one more. We'll cover these messages in our extended reading, Libra. Merlin the Dragon. Wonderful. Listen, thank you so much for being here. Please check out my seasonal offers and the energy activations, and join me for the extended if you're resonating. It's a great way to help support my work and keep the channel going. And I will see you next month for our final soul story of 2023. I appreciate all your support this year, Libra. You take care. Have a great month. Bye for now.